Welcome to Lit Happens, Saskatchewan's showcase of the literary talent of the province. We're out on location today at Creative Compliments, which is a very sweet little flower shop on 3rd Avenue. We're really happy to be here. I'd like to welcome my guest, Brenda Baker.
Hello, Wes. Thanks for having
Brenda.
me.
I'm just stoked you're here. We've been trying to make this happen.
Trying to make this happen for a while.
And
it's great.
Yeah, and you're kind of iconic in Saskatchewan's creative community. So.
Oh, that's very nice.
Well,
I don't think I knew that.
You are, and you wear so many hats, which I hope we're going to talk about. But let's talk about your book first. Your new book,
Sure.
Camp Outlook,
Bet.
which I read this past summer, which is a perfect summer read to read. It was just, share with us the premise of the book.
Sure,
what it's all
sure.
about.
It's based on my own experience at a real place called Camp Outlook, which is just outside of Outlook, Saskatchewan. And when I was in grade 5 and grade 6 in the summers, I went there for a week each summer. And I think these kind of summer camps for young people are, often very potent. Like, you really have memories from them, because often it's the first time you're away from your parents and you're creating community with just this group of gals in a cabin, and you're trying to make it on your own. And so there's a lot of strong memories I had of that, and I knew one day I wanted to write about it. But the premise really came together when Art Slade, my husband, and I had a baby who happened to have Down syndrome. And I decided I wanted to write about that experience, and from a perspective of a young person, in this case 12, 13 years old. And somehow in my mind, these things came together. I've got to use somehow that Camp Outlook experience, and then the experience for this young girl of what it's like to have a child with disabilities come into your family unexpectedly.
Wow. Well, if I may say so, you nailed it.
Thank you.
As someone who actually used to work with Down syndrome kids, I found myself chuckling a lot during the book, because so many just quite adorable, cute little things that they do.
Well, and because I continued to work with young people of all ages with different disabilities after Tori came into our lives. I got to kind of know what some of these elements of the personalities of those with just Down syndrome would have, and how they might speak. And there's such a range, but I think that helped.
Absolutely. You did great. Now, I wanted to get out to the viewers. This isn't the only thing you do. You are a writer, but you dabble in a few different professions. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I guess I've just been somebody who gets bored easily, and so I've always found it hard to just do one thing. And so consequently, in the arts, I've made my living by being very diverse in the arts. To live here in Saskatchewan, I found that that's what worked for me. And so I have some background in theater, but that took me into songwriting on stage. So I sort of became a stage performer, partly out of the theater experience and partly because I love to write songs. And then I kind of morphed into children's entertainment at one point as well. And then over time I became, from a songwriter, a fiction writer. Like, things just sort of evolved that way, and so I have another book out as well called The Maleness of God, but that came out quite a long time ago, because in the interim I've been doing other sorts of things. I've become a creativity coach as well as a live music performing coach. And I love to teach as well as to do. And so these kinds of things have allowed me to have a real diversity in my life, and it's been a lot of fun. And of course I have a choir called Kids of Note. And and half the children in my choir have intellectual disabilities. And that's just a thrill. That's probably the one thing in my life I've done consistently for a long time, because it's 10 years this year that we've had the choir going, and of course the Notations, which is the older group now that my sister leads, Diane Phillips.
Congratulations.
So those are a few. I touched on a few things.
How's the balance going? Do you get
like, it's an ongoing battle for me, is to try and keep it kind of all going in a way that doesn't drive myself or my husband insane, and makes room for the fact that we also have a 5-year-old child at home who we adopted from China. And earlier, and for those who don't know, I did mention Tori, who unfortunately passed away 6 years ago. So Tanea, our daughter now, came to us from China. And so we also do the parenting thing in the midst of all of this other craziness of artistic lives. But it's terrific. I would not change it.
Absolutely. Do you wake up in the morning at times thinking, okay, what's on the agenda today?
And I go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
What do I got to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, of course. And so it takes a certain amount of planning. And frankly, there's some things that just don't get done when they should get done because there's just so many things that I'm trying to fit into the picture.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Now, we mentioned earlier your husband is, of course, Art Slade, which a lot of people know. I've always kind of fascinated by marriages and households with two very creative, vibrant people in them. How does that go? There must be days that just get quite animated. I mean, Art Slade's quite...
Is he going to watch this? This is what I'm thinking to myself. Is he going to see this? Well, honestly, I feel blessed because we really understand one another. And, when things do get a little bit crazier for one than the other, we kind of know how to help each other out. And sometimes that means just stay out of the way.
Little space.
Just a little space.
Yeah.
Art just recently put out a wonderful graphic novel called Ember's End with his Moto character that he wrote 4 novels about, and I know you've talked to him about that in the past. So this is the first time that he's done a publishing project, really all on his own with the artist, Chris Steininger. So, there's been a lot of busyness around that and some stress and so on. But overall, he's done just a great job of it, and it's out there now, and we're really proud of the work
It
that's
is.
been
I've
done.
seen it, and it's everywhere, and it's tremendous. And we're pretty happy for him.
Yeah. So we have a calendar, this business, if you know these electronic calendars, online calendars.
Yeah.
I finally agreed to using one of these instead of my hard copy day timer, right? I agreed to that about 2 years ago, and I have to say that it has been a godsend.
Really?
Because we each have such different schedules, yes. And then we throw Tanea's schedule now, which is getting more complicated as she gets older, into the mix. And I would say that's also one of the tricks of being the kind of people we are right now.
Nice. You've embraced the modern age, moved with the times. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so what does the near future hold for you? Because I know you've always got ideas brewing. And
Yeah, well, there's a few things going on, I guess. The first thing will be Kids of Note has their concert coming up on December 7th, 2 p.m., Grosvenor Park United Church. And this is going to be huge because we have Joy of Vox, which is another choir in Saskatoon, 115 voices. And they're going to be our guest artists for our concert. So this is a really big to-do.
It's going to be terrific.
It will be. It will be. And I'm working on some other writing. I'm hoping to get back to another novel for young adults. And I'm working on a kids' TV show, just really as an interviewer, and not on camera, but just interviewing children for a particular TV show, and doing some writing for that. And I don't know. I think that's probably enough for now.
Yeah, that's probably enough, but it's great. If anyone can do it, it's you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, nice. So we're running out of time, but I want to get out to the viewers where in Saskatchewan can Camp Outlook be found?
Well, for sure at McNally Robinson booksellers here in Saskatoon.
Great.
And there's a variety of other bookstores where if they don't have it, they could at least order it, or of course online. And it's available as an ebook too, so if you go for that kind of option now, it is out there. I think those are the key places at the moment that I know of.
And do you have a website?
Oh, of course, yes. BrendaBaker.com.
That's easy.
Pretty easy to remember.
Cool.
So.
Well, I know we're out of time, but this was an absolute treat to
It was a treat for
interview.
me. I've heard so much about what you're doing for the literary community, and we're very grateful, so thank you.
Cool. Thank you. That's all the time we have today for It Happens. If you enjoyed today's segment, you can see previous episodes on the Shaw TV website or on my website, westfunk.ca, and you can connect with us online on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So I'll see you next time on It Happens.